In this session, we're going to look at lessons 118 through 120. The first one is lesson 118. In lesson 118, they're going to give us a polynomial and they're going to ask us to find the roots of this polynomial. Essentially, it's like you're breaking it down like this, and you're using the opposite signs, and you'll get x equals, and you'll have three answers. But, just looking at it, it's not the easiest to go about it. So what you're going to do is use what we learned in lesson 117. And we're going to take the last and divide it by the first. The factors of the last and the factors of the first. So the factors of the last are 1 and 3. Factors of the first are 1 and 2. So we'll have 1, 1/2, and these are all positive or negative. We'll have 3, and we'll have 3/2. So then what you're going to do is you're going to take these and you're going to divide it. You use your synthetic division program in your calculator, and you're going to, go x minus 1. You're going to divide all of these out. So you'll try every one of these. You'll have positive, -1, positive, -1/2, positive, -3, positive, -3/2. One of these will have a 0. One of these will have no remainder. And the one that has no remainder is the one you're looking for. What it ends up being in this one, just to kind of speed us up here, the one that ends up having no remainder is going to be 3/2. So it'll be x minus 3/2, and then what's left is going to be 2x squared plus 6x plus 2. That's what's left when you do synthetic division. Go ahead and do this one more time, and you're actually going to get a complex number. Go ahead and hit enter a second time to get your actual roots. And what you end up with is -3 plus √5 over 2. It's a complex thing, it's not that. And then it's -3 minus √5 over 2. The equals 0. So your answers end up being 3/2. Let's see if it's positive. And these are x plus that. So it ends up being -3 plus √5 over 2 and -3 minus √5 over 2. And so these are the roots here. But it goes back to what we learned in lesson 117, where you take the factors of the last divided by the factors of the first, and you come up with these are the possible things that you would put in here then to divide it out, or to put here and then divide it out by using synthetic division. That's it for lesson 118. Looking at lesson 119, it has a part A and a part B. In part A, we're looking at positive and negative real roots. And you're just going to identify how many positive or negative real roots that they have. Now remember, for the positive real roots, we don't have to do anything. We just will count the sign changes, where it goes from positive to negative or negative to positive. So look right here, we have a change. Went from positive to negative. Right here we went from negative to positive, so we have a change. Stayed positive, then right here we had one more change. So for this one, we would say it has either 3 positive, because there's 3 changes, 3 positive real roots, or 1 positive real root. Now for the next one, when it says negative, we have to make sure that we put a negative number in for x. When we put a positive number in for x, here it didn't change, it doesn't ever change anything. Put a negative number in. Negative with a even exponent is going to give us a positive. So we have a positive number here. Put in a negative there, you're going to get a negative because it's an odd exponent. So a negative times a negative is a positive, so there was no change there. This also will be a positive. And this one will end up being a negative. This will stay a negative because there's nothing to put in there. So we only have one change. So right here, we would say for this one, we only have one negative real root as a possibility. Next one's positive, so there's nothing to do, so it's as is. So we have a change here where it goes from positive to negative, stays negative, a change here where it goes from negative to positive, a change here where it goes from positive to negative, and then a change here where it goes from negative to positive. So we have 4 changes. So right here we would have 4 positive real roots, 2 positive real roots, or 0 positive real roots. So you see how if it's an odd, you would go, and if there's 3, you go 3, 1. If there's an odd and it's 1, it's just 1. If there's an even, so it goes 4, 2, 0. Got to get the idea here. For the last one, put in a negative number, get a negative sign. Put in a negative number, stays negative because that was already negative. Put in a negative, you get a positive. Put in a negative, it stays positive. Put in a negative, it becomes positive. Right here, only one change. So 1 negative real roots. So that is how real roots work. Now looking at part B here, 119 part B, we're learning about upper and lower bounds. Upper and lower bounds. Now, in order to find an upper bound, you're going to use positive non-zero numbers, or you're looking for positive non-zero numbers having the same sign. So what you're going to do is you're going to start with 1, positive 1, because you're going to use a positive number for the upper, and you're just going to keep going till you find all non-zero answers having the same sign. So you're going to plug in a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4. What you're using is synthetic division. Okay, so it'll be x in your calculator. In your calculator, you're just going to put, you'll start like this. You put in a 1 in your calculator. You have x squared minus x minus 21. Put that in your calculator, and you're looking for all the same sign. It can be all negative or all positive, but it's got to be non-zero numbers. And what you're going to end up doing in this one on the upper bound is you're going to plug in 1, then you're going to try 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. It's not going to be until you get to 6. It's not going to be until you get to 6, actually, that what you get for this is 1, 5, 9. Which are all positive. It doesn't have to be positive, it just has to be all the same sign. It's all positive, non-zero numbers. 1, 5, and 9 are not zero numbers. So what you find on the upper bound, let's just go UB, upper bound, you're going to find the upper bound is positive 6. Now on the lower bound, you're going to use a negative number, so same thing, except you're going to put a negative number, and you'll start with negative 1, and on the lower bound, what you're looking for, and it doesn't have to be non-zero numbers on the lower bound, but you're looking for alternate signs, where it goes positive, negative, or positive, negative, positive. And what you're going to find, you're going to go all the way up to your negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. You're just going to, right here we got to 6, and what we're actually going to get to is negative 5 here. When you just got a trial and error. You got to plug it in for synthetic division in your programs, and what you end up with when you type in negative 5 is 1, negative 6, 9. 1, negative 6, 9, which is positive, negative, positive. So we find that our lower bound is negative 5. So what we learned was that our real roots lie somewhere in between -5 and 6. And that is what your answer will be. So we learned upper and lower bound, and we learned positive and negative real roots. So work with polynomials, synthetic division is kind of what we're working at quite a bit these last few lessons.